What is going on, football fans? It's your boy Lolo, and I'm back in the basement, in the studio today, and I'm coming to you guys, bringing you guys a brand new show that we're going to be doing every Tuesday night at 5 p.m. our time on the East Coast, and it's all about the Fantasy Football League, and we're going to be discussing mostly what's going on with the Stoop Crew Fantasy League. So if you're not a part of that Stoop Crew Fantasy League, you kind of got to be a part of the Stoop Crew to get that code, and then you can log in and join in. And you guys can join in at any point in the season. You may you may be starting from a lower position because you missed out on this week. But I already see some of the Stoop Crew in the house. What's going on, Anders? Ben Ireland, I see you there as well as Ben AZ Leeds, who is actually in second place after week 1. So we'll get right into that. But I just want to remind you guys, just like all of the shows that we do here, we're not trying to pretend like we know everything about football. I do not know everything about fantasy football. I put about as much research into it as I do our normal shows. I'm just more of a normal football fan like most of y'all out there who likes playing fantasy football, does a little bit of research, and then I kind of go with my heart. Like, you will not see a Tottenham Hotspur on my team. Does that make good fantasy football sense? No. But does it make good Arsenal sense? Yes. Did I put Bruno Fernandes in my team? No. Should I have? Probably. So, and yes, Mr. 55 is here, Mr. 55. Oh, I can't wait. Najee, I hadn't even checked on you to see where you were in the table, so we'll get into that. All right, so let's start off right now and check out the Stoop Crew standings. All right, guys, so over here, like I said, Ben AZ. Ben, are you still here? Are you still here with us? And BX says he's selling his Arsenal kits cheap. Oh, man, don't do it. Say it ain't so, BX. It's week 1. Come on. We're going to beat Chelsea on this weekend, so on Sunday. But it looks like we have Avia Blues, who is Andrej. I don't know if that's Anders. No, I don't know. I'm not sure who that is exactly, but tied with Ben AZ, both with 104 points. We'll take a look at their teams in just a moment. So let me see if we can find Lolo on here. Lolo. Lower. There we are. There's Lolo's Locos right there. Let's see. Way over here in 25th place. But I am just above Mr. James Reeves, Paul H., Justin Cross, John C., Apple of Sodom, and Ben Ireland. There you are, Ben, with a whopping 25 points. Ben, I'm so sorry that you got less than me, and I'm actually not very sorry about that. So, since we do have Ben AZ Leeds Johnson here right now, we are going to check out your team, bro. 104 points, not so bad. It looks like you had Sanchez in goal, who did not particularly do well. He got 2 points. Ben White did not do well. But you started that Simicus kid, or Simicus, or however people are saying it. And he got the clean sheet. But you had Bruno Fernandes, and you captained Mo Salah. Now, Mo Salah, I believe, was the second highest scoring player. Bruno Fernandes was the first highest scoring player. Son was up there with 10. Calvert-Lewin, 7. Harrison. All right, so I see you do have some Leeds players here. You just had them on the bench. You even had Firpo down here on the bench. And 7 points from Region sitting there on the bench. So you could have even had a better day had you started a different North London center back or defender. You could have ended up with, what, 110 points? Well done. Oh, you triple captain. Ah, I see. Did you triple captain for real? 17. Yeah, he had 17 points. Yeah, you cheater. You triple captained on week 1. On week 1, man. That's some ballsy stuff. And it paid off. paid off really well. Well done with the triple captain on that. Justin, I'm definitely near the bottom of the league. Yes, you are. But this Tuesday show is going to help us kind of see what we're doing right, see what we're doing wrong. Maybe Ben over here can give us some pointers on what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. So now I'm going to take a look at some people's fantasy teams, and we're going to take a look and see what's going on. So first of all, Ben Ireland says, you're above me, Lolo. And Ben Ireland is way down here on the bottom. You can see number 31. Let's take a look at Ben's team. He got a whopping 25 points. I have a feeling it's going to be Leeds United centric. And yes, it was. Meslier giving up 5 goals. Not such a hot look. Even though Meslier, I thought, played pretty well. Stroik with 0 points. Rafinha with 1 point. The Grealish only got 1 point. Ben White only got 1 point. Fabio Silva only got 1 point. Half of your bench is injured and gone. And Harry Kane didn't even play. I think Ederson's the only one on your bench that actually played, Ben. So, rough start to the week. Mason Mount was 6 points. And now that's weird because Mason Mount got an assist. But it's because he was fouled outside of the box. And then Alonso kicked a free kick, so that counts as an assist. Other than that, Mason Mount did not have a good game. Saint-Maximin had a game and not even as good of a game as he could have had. I was really impressed with him. So that's tough. I don't know what I can do recommendation-wise for you, Ben, looking at this squad that you have. He says, I'm swapping Kane for Lukaku. I don't know if that's going to save you. But listen, Stroik, Rafinha, and Meslier should all have better games coming up. And who knows when Robertson will be back, so you may or may not get rid of him right away. And Jack Grealish can have a good game, bad game. Nobody's scoring for Wolves, so Fabio Silva might. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you there. So let's actually take a look at the let's see how people actually did. So here's our top scorers of the game week. We have Bruno Fernandes with 20, Mo Salah with 17, Pogba with 16, Alonso with 15, Chalaba with 14, Antonio with 13, and so on and so on. So I want to know from you guys who surprised you most out of all these players up here. Who was it that surprised you? Because we have Sar, the pity in your eyes. No, Ben, it's less pity and more like I feel you. We haven't even looked at my team, so don't worry. We'll get to my team in a minute. So a novice guide to the game, Justin is asking. So what I would say, like, Justin, let's take a look at your team. Bielsa's boys here in 28th place. He got 32 points, not much less than me. So first of all, a big thing that you gotta realize about your teams is people go in and out, injured before and after the match very, very quickly. And out of nowhere. And you have up until the kickoff of the first match of the week to switch him out. So, like, Lingard, I'm not sure why you have Lingard even in there. Maybe hopes that he was going to go to West Ham and he would play for West Ham right away. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. You've also got an injured Davies over here. Or injured, or is he just not? Ben Davies. He joined Sheffield United, so you got to get rid of him too, man. Yeah, so I would say, Justin, you just got to kind of pay attention to it at least right before the first game kicks off for the week. Give yourself an hour or so and look over your team and make sure the matchups are there for you. I'm not sure if that helped you at all. So we are going to go from there. So well done, Ben. You're sitting in first place with Anderzej Frijiki. Maybe that's Anders. I'm not sure. So well done there. Now, I want to start talking to you guys about some potential players that we should keep an eye on. So these are some of my ones to watch here. And one person, we had somebody mention right here about Brentford. There are a few interesting Brentford players, says Ben. And I can agree with you. And one for me and one to watch is Christian Norgard. So let me try and pull up his stats here. Here we go. Christian Norgard. So he's something you want to look at right away is, look, he's only £5 million. He's only £5 million for one. He's a midfielder, which means if he scores a goal, it's worth more. I believe it's worth 5 points, 6 points. Yeah. 5 points, I believe. And this guy, to me, I was watching him against Arsenal. I was watching in the Brentford-Arsenal match. He was all over the place. And I remember him coming on as a sub a few times in the Euros. And he's all over the place, and he's involved in a lot. And so I can see him being a cheap option in the midfield who's going to get you some goals, and he's going to get you some assists. So if you guys are looking to add... If you guys are looking to add somebody cheap, or if you're trying to find a way to fit Lukaku in your team, let's say, and you need to find $2 million or something, a $7 million, $7.5 million midfielder like Gundogan or somebody like that who may or may not be injured, you can switch out for somebody like Christian Norgard, who may not get you points every week, but every other week, I would say he's going to be on there with a goal or an assist. He's kind of one of their unspoken figures right there. Plus, if they can keep a clean sheet, he's a midfielder, so he'll get an extra point for that. So my next man to watch is another guy from a promoted team, a newly promoted team. And let me see if I can find him on here first. Oops. That's not it. This guy, for me, was very, very impressive. And he's actually sitting here at number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like number 9 with the 9th most points. He got 12 points for Watford. This is Emmanuel Dennis. Only $5 million for a forward right here, okay? When you're looking at, like, what is my forward cost, like 8 million or something like that, or if you're looking at Lukaku for 11 million, this guy for Watford, he's not going to score every single day, but I think he's a better option than Sarr. A lot of people are saying to pick up Sarr from Watford, but he's like 6.5 million, and he's out on the wing causing all the trouble. I think Emmanuel Dennis is going to live in the center, let Sarr pull defenders off and create the space for Dennis to have some tap-in goals. And I was more than impressed by Watford, the way they played. And yes, it was up against Aston Villa, but a lot of people are saying that Aston Villa is going to be a good side this season, even without Jackie Boy. So I don't know. I'm thinking, don't pick up Emmanuel Dennis this week. What you should look at is his fixtures. This week, I mean, he has Brighton, so it's not a bad choice. Brighton can give up goals. The following week is Tottenham. He's probably not going to get you anything from Tottenham. But then he's got Wolves, Norwich, and Newcastle coming up. And then Leeds. Leeds very well might beat Watford, but Watford very well might score. So this run of form for Emmanuel Dennis coming up in week 4, 5, 6, 7... all the way up to Liverpool. Look, for $5 million for a forward, Throw him in there. Throw him in there. Sell your $7 or $8 million guy who may have a rough spell. Get that $3 million extra dollars. Buy yourself Kevin De Bruyne, Lukaku, Bruno Fernandes if you didn't have them. Go ahead and splurge on a more expensive player. That's what a player like Dennis can afford you. So, somebody else to watch. Very interesting. I didn't foresee me choosing this guy because I didn't think he was very active throughout last season, but maybe I just didn't really pay enough attention. And it's not that he was way up on the score sheet, but here he is, Mr. Aaron Cresswell for West Ham United. The reason I think that he could be a good steal for people, now he's still under that $6 million mark, so you can save a little money. But Aaron Cresswell took every single one of the free kicks, and one of them went in as a goal on his own. Now that should have been an assist, probably. Souček should have touched it, but he didn't have to, and it went straight in and it was a goal. But the difference for me is West Ham is going to lock their defending down. They're going to lock it down. And, yeah, Leicester is going to be a tough one, but then Crystal Palace, Southampton, United, Leeds, Brentford, Everton, Tottenham, even Villa. All of those are matches where West Ham should be able to lock down, if not get a clean sheet, keep it to 1 goal or so. And Aaron Cresswell was so involved in the attack, he may just be a cheap option. And remember, he's a defender, so if he scores a goal or gets an assist, more points. If he gets a clean sheet, that's like an extra 4 points or something like that. So you get 6 points if he plays the whole game. That's 2. Clean sheet is 4. If he scores a goal or gets an assist, you could be looking at 13-point games every other gamer. So who knows? I don't know. I'm just saying he's somebody I'm thinking about. The last guy that is not really a hidden gem or not really in the bargain bin either, but somebody that I don't know. Let me see if I can get the entire... Yeah, so only 5.3% of the league has him. And it's this guy right here, Alan Saint-Maximin. Saint-Maximin. He's 6.5. It's a little bit more expensive. He's getting up there. But I don't know if you guys watched the Newcastle versus West Ham match. Saint-Maximin he's crazy. He picks up the ball from the back line almost every time, and he is the focal point of everything that happens in Newcastle. Now, I think when Joe Willock comes up, Joe Willock is going to score some goals. Saint-Maximin very well may have those assists. Willock is going to open things up. Callum Wilson is going to open things up. Saint-Maximin was taking so many shots and dribbling around people. This guy, look, for $6.5 million, he will get you as many points as Dominic Calvert-Lewin, someone like that, who's going to go weeks without scoring but never makes an assist. Those type of things. I think Alan Saint-Maximin is somebody that you guys should really be paying attention to, especially, let me look at their fixture list. Yeah, so they have Aston Villa, Southampton. They do go to Man United, but then look at this. Leeds, Watford, Wolves, Tottenham, Crystal Palace. Like, all the way to almost Christmas. I don't know how they have a red here for Arsenal, because that shouldn't be too hard of a match. Chelsea a lot harder, but just saying, you know, Newcastle, they do have a good run, and I have to say they looked really much better. They look like where they were kicking off where they finished last season, which was on the front foot. So, alright, so fellas and ladies and anybody who's in here, Lolo, sitting here in 25th out of 31st place, I need some help. So let's take a peek at my team. Big 40%, 40 points that I got here. I have Emi Martinez, and as anybody who is a fan of the show knows, that's my keeper. I think Arsenal sold the wrong keeper. I'm so sorry. What's going on, London boy? Good to see you. Andrej, sorry, it's not you, Anders, I see. Arsenal will be relegated this season. Hey, not out of the realms of possibility. But, guys, help me with my team, okay? What did I do so wrong? Was it Ben White? Was it Luke Shaw? Was it Soufal? Was it Tyrone Mings? Was it everybody? Listen, I think Stuart Dallas and Rafinha, I think Leeds United is going on a tougher... They weren't meant to get much out of the Man United match. Not making excuses, I'm just saying... I have Rafinha and Dallas in my team for the long run. So, and then, London boy, I definitely went with my heart instead of my smarts. And I was like, no, Pepe's going to kick off the season, and Pepe's going to have a hat trick. Pepe's going to have a brace. He's going to get the 3 points. Let's go. I thought about triple captaining Pepe. Good thing I didn't do that. Meanwhile, as you can see, I have no Bruno Fernandes. I have no Paul Pogba. I have no Kevin De Bruyne. I thought Grealish could get something done. But look, next week and the next couple weeks, Man City could do some damage. And Grealish is definitely trying to prove himself. I threw Dominic Calvert-Lewin in at the last minute, and he got me some points with a last-minute goal. So I'll keep him on the squad. Down here, I'm gonna sub out Ben White for Ruben Diaz because I always had White in for this game, out for 2 matches, and then back in for a somewhat easier run. I got Tony here on the bench, and then I don't even remember doing this. This must have been like after a happy hour drinking or something, but I went and got Patson Daka on my team. Now, he's behind Jamie Vardy. So Jamie Vardy's going to play 90 minutes unless he gets injured. And then Iheanacho's in there as well. So I'm not sure why all of a sudden I had all these... I had all this hope for Daka. And it's not even like he was cheap. He was 7.4. So I think if I make a move this week, it's going to be trading out Daka. Because for 7.4, and I believe I still have some cash in the bank... Yeah, I think I still have like a million pounds to play with. So, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the. Yeah, London boy. That's what I was thinking. It's just if he's gonna come off the bench or not, and if he does come off the bench and he only gets a minute, then he plays. Like I had him starting. And he didn't play, so Stuart Dallas came off the bench for me and got me 5 points. Otherwise, I'm down there in Ben Ireland territory. So what do you guys think right now? What do you guys think I should do? First of all, I think Salah is my captain. I got to move Salah over to my captain. They're playing Burnley next week. He should get a goal. Captain Daka, says Ben Ireland. You're really not helping me out. I would take Pepe out. We're going to get destroyed next game. Yeah, but I'm already taking... okay, so if that's what you're saying... Let's see. Let's actually do some of this. So you're saying take Pepe out. And that makes me... So what? I'll put Stuart Dallas in. I'm going to put Diaz in for White. I think I would put Tony in for Daka. Captain Mo Salah. And I think that would have to be my team. I don't know. What do you guys think about all those moves that I just made right there? I'm going to go with that for now. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Save your team. And Ben, you said you need more help. So guys, we're gonna check out Ben's team. Where are my leagues? All right, let's help out Ben as well. So Ben, let's take a look at your team. You have, in the back, you have Meslier. What's your other option? Ederson. So Meslier is playing against Everton next. And Ederson is playing against Norwich. Listen, I know you love Meslier, but switch Meslier for Ederson this week. That should be your first move. You got to get rid of Andy Robertson right now, and I don't know what you're doing with Harry Kane. It may be worth keeping him on the pitch, keeping him on your team just right now, because you don't know what's going to happen with him. If Kane starts for Spurs next week, you already have him, and you haven't had to waste a trade. So I would trade Andy Robertson or Phil Foden. What's up with Foden right now? Foot injury. He's not expected back until September 11th. So get rid of him. Yeah, that's a lot of money you got on the bench right here, not playing. So I'd say if you could only make one move, these guys are expected back at about the same time. Look, Phil Foden's worth £8 million. So for £8 million, you can get any one of the guys that I mentioned. But let's see. So let's go by price. So for £8 million, you could get Danny Ings, Pulisic, Calvert-Lewin, Bamford, Grealish, Martial, Richarlison, Pogba, Watkins. You can get any of those guys for Phil Foden, and any of those guys would sit on your team, would be better on your team. All right, Ben? Take a look at those guys right there for £8 million. Danny Ings. Look, Pulisic looked very good, and I think that even with Lukaku coming in, the way he played, I see Pulisic starting over Mount if Thomas Tuchel continues to go with him. I don't quite know enough about Chelsea to give you a 100% on that, but yeah, Pulisic isn't a bad shout. So I definitely get rid of Phil Foden and get one of those guys and put them on here. And then who knows? I mean, you could have a much better week, Ben. You really got screwed with Jack Grealish, with your Leeds players, and with your Arsenal. And I don't know why you captained Ruben Diaz. It was a crazy move, but yeah, we'll see. So guys, take a screenshot of my team if you can, and send me your thoughts on what the heck I could do better. Who should I get? And yes, Justin, you need to always have two keepers. So I generally buy a keeper that isn't going to play. If I have full confidence in my keeper that he's always going to play and he's always going to make saves and sometimes have clean sheets, so I'm cool with him. So I went with a super cheap goalkeeper at the back for $4 million. So it saves you some money there. I don't think you should have two good goalkeepers. Now, other people play the other way where they always have a good goalkeeper in, and then you do get points if they get the clean sheets, but it's a lot of money to leave on the bench. I know a lot of people who just put crap in the bench so they can have everything out on the pitch. Then you don't get to play matchups as much, but that's kind of where it's kind of what Ben was doing. Let's see. Tyler says, welcome to the show, Tyler. Do you think you can go without a City player for their upcoming match? Look, they're playing Norwich. Is there going to be goals? Yes. The problem with Manchester City is, yeah, Justin, go cheap on the second keeper, I'd say. The problem with Manchester City is you don't know who's going to score. So who do you put your money on? I think right now I would start. I have more confidence starting a Manchester City defender and keeper than I do an attacker because who's going to score? De Bruyne, Grealish, Mahrez, Gundogan if he plays, Sterling. You know, or could it actually be Stones or Diaz from a header, from a set piece or something like that? So to me, it's really tough to decide on which Manchester City player. But if you already have a City player on your team, play him. You have to play him. Take him off the bench, except for Phil Foden. Ben, he's not playing. He's hurt. Get him off of your team. So, yes, Justin, go cheap on the second keeper. That's what I say. I think the wild card already needs to be played, Lolo, with that team. I know, I was thinking about it. I don't know what I did. I think, like, when I went to check on my team during the matches, I looked at it and I was like, what did I do? When did I put Shaw on my team? I don't even remember. And Tyrone Mings, I don't remember having him on my team. I remember the crazy Daka situation. See, this is the late night, had a few drinks. Oh, let me look at my fantasy team. Oh, it's preseason, so you have all the transfers you want. And I think I was just transferring people in and out and in and out. But yeah. And Justin, don't worry. You're not being a pain. This is what this is for. This show is less about getting a crazy amount of views and more like, let's help each other out and let's talk about fantasy football and make this fun for you guys. Sorry for being a pain in the arsenal, but do you get points for the bench players? So here's what happens. Generally, you do not get points for your bench players, but if you have a player playing who doesn't see the pitch at all, who doesn't even get on the pitch, so they have 0 points, 0 minutes played, they will be automatically transferred out for your first bench player. So you see down here on my bench, zoom, see Daka has a number 1 next to it, number 2, number 3. So it would take your next player. Now, if Daka didn't play, like he didn't play, it would go to the next one, so I would get that 2 points instead of 0. So what happened for me was I started Daka, and he didn't even play, and Stuart Dallas was on the bench. So Stuart Dallas jumped up with 5 points at the end of the week. So at the end of the match week, they clear all that up for you. Let's see. Commentator 69, what's going on? Or Commenter 69. Doing you think changing Wilson into Calvert-Lewin is a good move? Callum Wilson... I have Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I don't think I'm going to have him for the entire season. But the reason I picked him up was because I thought he had a good opportunity a good matchup last week, which was against Southampton. Leeds, he's the type of guy who scores against Leeds United. Leeds United might win the match, but Everton's going to score some goals, and he's probably going to do it. Against Brighton, he may score a goal. Burnley, he should score a goal. Aston Villa, he should score a goal. Norwich, he should score a goal. So there's a lot of good to be said about putting Dominic Calvert-Lewin in your team right now. Now, let's look at Callum Wilson. I know this isn't Callum Wilson, but he's on the same team. They have Aston Villa, Southampton, Man United. I think the two of those are a toss-up right now. If you have Callum Wilson, the link-up that he had with St. Maximin was very, very nice. Very, very nice. I don't think it's a big enough upside to switch Calvert-Lewin for Wilson if you have another trade that you can make. Now, if you're happy with your team and you're just like, huh. If I was going to change somebody, I would change these two, then go for it. I think they're probably about the same price. I don't know. We'll have to look that up. Let's see. Let's go to forwards. Calvert-Lewin is $8 million, and Callum Wilson is $7.5 million. So you would need a little bit of extra money. So in the end, I think right now, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has the bigger upside in the next 5 weeks, for sure. In the next 4 or 5 weeks. But Callum Wilson, he looked good. He looked good, and it looked like, I don't know. I had Newcastle down near relegation, but they looked a lot better than Arsenal this week. So let's go. Do you think I should go Jota and a $4.5 million pound defender, Grealish and Tsimikas, or a $6.5 million defender? Jota and a $4.5 million defender, or I'm not exactly sure what you're asking there. Jota and a $4.5 million defender, Grealish and Tsimikas, or a $6.5 million defender. Look, I think you got to ride the Tsimikas train if you have him. He's like $4 million, $4.5 million, something like that, and he's gonna play. And he did fine. He's not gonna get you Andy Robertson numbers, but he may eat up a couple clean sheets. So go for it. Cheers, Justin. Not against Leeds this weekend. Yeah, right. I think Tony will score in the next game. Brentford got confidence from their first win. Absolutely, and that's why I was mentioning Norgard. Norgard is like $5 million or something like that. Look at him. He's someone that you could switch out, one of your $6-7 million, even like a Ward-Prowse, people like that. Even like a Mahrez, where he may or may not score. When he scores, it's great, but he may or may not score. These other guys are the ones who are taking every single free kick for the team, for these lower teams. Tony's going to take every single penalty. He's going to be on the end of passes and all that. So, when I last played fantasy, I always put in either Vardy or Kane. They always bag a ton of goals. Absolutely. Vardy or Kane. And for me, the beginning of the season is always Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He kind of tails off, but he usually starts hot. But to me, the money is in the midfield. The money is in the midfield. They get an extra point for a clean sheet. They get 2 extra points, or 1 or 2 extra points for goals. So they get more points. If your striker isn't also getting you assists, then it's a risky striker, I'd say. And meanwhile, I have Dominic Calvert-Lewin, who never gets an assist. But let's see. I say Jota to that. Man, always in on form in the Premier League. I think if you can get Jota right now, if Jota slots into your team fairly easily, I'd say get him, because he's gonna play, and he usually makes the most of the little bit of time that he's given. Even if he doesn't start, he usually does very, very well, and he goes for it. So, do I think taking a -4 is a problem? So listen, Justin, and other people who are new to fantasy football. So what Tyler is asking is, do you think taking a -4 is a problem? So in each match week, you are allowed to make 1 transfer. If you don't make a transfer, that transfer carries over to next week, and next week you have 2 transfers. But if this week you want to make more than 1 transfer, if you make your free transfer and then 1 more, you'll get a -4. So do I think it's a problem? I think taking -4s need to happen throughout the season, and I think you can be very, very smart about them, because sometimes making 1 change isn't really enough. But if you can make a change to get a little extra money to get the real change that you need, and then that guy gets you 13 points as opposed to the guy you had who got you 2, that's not really a -4 even. you've made so much more money off of that guy. So like if you want to find a way to get Lukaku in this week because you think he's going to get a hat trick against Arsenal, but in order to afford him, you need to get rid of, I don't know, Grealish or somebody. So you trade Grealish for a 4.5 or a $5 million defender that gives you a couple extra more bucks to get rid of Calvert-Lewin and bring in, you know what I mean? So taking a -4 isn't always a bad thing. You just got to be smart about it, and you got to hope that it pays off that week. It can't be something that you look to the future for. But once you do it, you just live with it. I think Grealish is unpredictable this season. I mean, we will see if he takes off for City. What you reckon, Lolo? I think Grealish will do very, very well at City, and I think they're letting him play. He's started every match since he's been there, and he's played pretty much every minute as well. And I think he'll be good. The problem is he's got no... You can have the best assists in the world, but as we saw against Spurs, every shot that they took was off target, was bad. And everybody there, from Ferran Torres to Mahrez, Gundogan, all of them, Raheem Sterling, all of them just couldn't finish. So he can do all the tricks he wants, but I think Jackie Boy, he's going to have to start shooting. And it's something that he doesn't like to do, that we used to yell when we were watching him for Aston Villa, like, dude, take the shot yourself. You've done all that work. Stop looking for someone to pass to and take the shot. And I think if he does that, he can actually start getting some real points. Because right now they have no striker, as Gabriel Jesus sits in the corner crying. All right, Tyler, I was meant to say, do you think I should go Jota and a 4.5 mil defender, or Tsimikas and Grealish? Or save a transfer and just get a $6.5 million midfielder? Who are you trying to get rid of? Jota and a 4.5, or Tsimikas and Grealish? I actually prefer week 1. So I'm still not 100% sure on what you're asking. But guys, I really feel that week 1, you got to relax. Yes, people scored that you didn't think were going to score. Yes, other people didn't score that should have scored. Relax. You put in the work. You chose your team. You were thinking about more than week 1. So wouldn't it be better to go into week 2 or week 3 actually with 2 transfers? Now you've had 2 weeks to look at how the league is going. Maybe now. So maybe that change that you forced this week isn't really going to be all that good, as opposed to next week. What if somebody blows up? Or what if Bruno Fernandes gets injured? Or what if Lukaku comes in and you did all this trading for Lukaku and he gets injured week 1 against Arsenal, or week 2 against Arsenal? Things like that, where relax, it was just week 1, we're in week 2. Yes, Ben Island scored 30, I scored 40, 25, sorry, Ben, and I scored 40. But listen, these guys aren't going to score 104 every week. I hope not. I hope they don't. So I'd say relax, keep your transfer, unless you have something like, I think, Ben, you got to use your transfers. But I'd say relax. Trust in what you've already put in, and carry over the extra transfer to next week. So I just want to say what's up to Mr. Tom. Good to see you. Ben, keep killing it. What do I know about Josh Sargent? I know he's a big-ass white redhead kid from the States. So other than that, I actually don't know much about him. I've seen him play for the international team a couple times. We'll see. He looked good when he came on. But I don't know. I really don't know all that much about him. I follow Premier League much more than I follow anything here in the States. Justin, final question. One more question. Do you only get money by transferring players, or do you get a cash injection for other reasons? That's the only reason you get money. Now, so say you owned Pogba. Say you spent exactly your 100 million and you own Pogba. Well, today Pogba went up in price. So Pogba used to be 7.5, now he's 7.6. So now your team would be worth $100.1 million or pounds, and you would have that to play with. So I would replace Saka and Reece James. Saka is going to be starting in the team, and he's going to make a real difference. So I don't know. I think Saka. Look out for Saka to do some damage, and I think he's starting to kind of get annoyed with all the clapping for him. You could tell he was like, yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, but can I fucking play some football? So I want him to start a match. I think he starts against Chelsea, and I think he has a good match. I don't know if we can win, but I think we get a draw against Chelsea. What are your views on Arsenal? Lolo, Aubameyang, and Lacazette are out next game for us. For transfers, are we chasing after Madison? I think it could be the end of us, Lolo. Listen, I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know. This whole Aubameyang Lacazette, I thought Lacazette was on board. I knew there was a bunch of shit happening with Aubameyang. But listen, if they don't want to be here, then let them go, sell them now, and get something for them. But that means immediately we should be less interested in Madison, and we need a striker. We need an actual striker. Because Balogun started, we've all been screaming for Balogun, and he did not look great. I know Eddie Nketiah should be back, and then but look, he's, to me, Nketiah needs a loan spell, somewhere where he gets tons of playing time, and then he'll be a lot better. But listen, if Aubameyang and Lacazette want to go, and we don't sign anybody, let's say we get Odegaard, I don't think it's the end for us. I think we have a lot of good talent. Arteta needs to come up with some sort of plan and start implementing it. Because right now, like I kept saying about the Brentford match, that was clearly a match between a team that has an identity and a plan versus another team that's winging it and has zero identity and no captain on the pitch. So, yeah, it's rough for us. But listen, I always knew Brentford was a trap game for us, and we could easily lose that match with the high energy, the high stakes of everything going on for them, and us looking forward to Chelsea and City. But just as much as I saw us losing to Brentford, it would not surprise me one bit if we beat Chelsea. And then it wouldn't surprise me at all if Chelsea went on to win the league, even with us beating them. It's just kind of the way things go a lot of times, especially with Arsenal. Like, I always fear Brighton more than I fear Man United. So, yeah, and if Bellerin wants to leave, let him go. Let him go. Listen, we gave our number 10 to a young Haaland boy, and we got Saka right next to him. We recruited Sambi Lakanga, young guy. We put $50 million in Ben White, an English kid who's tough. We've got Gabriel, who's very young, Partey, who's young, Kieran Tierney, who will be our captain, Emile Smith-Rowe, Pepe, he's not old, Eddie Nketiah. Look, we have a very, very young team. These guys need to be put together, and a plan needs to be formed where they can grow together and follow the process that we keep hearing about, but we can't see at all. So I don't think it's the end for us. I really don't think it's the end for Arsenal. I think I'm less positive that Mikel Arteta will make it to Christmas, though. I thought he would at least make it to Christmas for sure. But look, if he beats Chelsea and he beats City, that will definitely give him enough time. They will definitely give him until Christmas with that. So who knows? It could happen. But guys, listen, it's been a lot of fun with our first official fantasy football show. I want to say congratulations to Avia Blues and pending moderation. That's you, Ben, Arizona Leeds, for coming in first place after week 1. And for me and Ben Ireland and John Chirelli and Adam of Sodom and Justin Cross and Paul H. and James, the 25 and below club. It's okay. Don't worry. Some new people are going to sign up. We need all of you Stoop Crew members. Go and get that link and sign up for the fantasy football. Who cares if you don't know what you're doing? I'm going to be doing this show every week where you can come on and ask me your questions, and I'm going to try and help you out as much as possible. And if we're some sort of old man's fantasy football show, that's what it's got to be, where we got to learn how to do this together and learn how to perfect it together. But just like everything on the Stoop, it's all about the community. So don't forget to go to our website on thestoopwithlolo.com. We have discussion groups where you can ask questions about your fantasy football. You can ask questions and comments all about the Premier League week, about your club, talk to other Stoop Crew members, do all that stuff. It's all about the community. So go and do that. And you can also buy some awesome Stoop gear like this stuff or some cool stickers and all that. But guys, I love you. I'll see you next week. We will see you. Our video will be coming out on Thursday, our weekend watch list, where we tell you guys which matches we think you should pay attention to besides your own clubs. So, and then of course Friday night for happy hour. We will see you all then. So from Brooklyn, peace out, y'all.